Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is about what is the purpose of mindfulness, and what I really wanted to do today was to kind of wind back. I think we've gone into a lot of deeper topics, and sometimes when we go into deeper topics, we get away from what the original purpose or intention was for mindfulness practice in general. And so today I wanted to make sure that we kind of go back to that surface level because it's really important. And if we start to practice this in a way that we can see this main kind of first benefit, there's really a lot to get out of just this kind of primary benefit. So, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So, to observe what's happening in your experience right now. And as we practice mindfulness, so the practice of mindfulness when we're intentionally practicing mindfulness, being present, observing what's going on right now without judgment, this is what we call meditation. So, focusing on learning how to be in the present moment through practice is meditation. And so, what is this primary benefit we get out of our mindfulness practice? Is that we can be aware of what's going on in any given moment. And what's the power in this? So first, as I was considering this topic, there are two main things that we begin to notice when we're practicing mindfulness, when we're when we're meditating, and then what happens naturally. We can't help but take what we're experiencing in our meditation practice and begin to apply it to our daily lives. So we tend to not meditate for the sake of meditation, at least I think the majority of meditators, that we're not doing it because sitting still for 20 minutes or however long we're meditating isn't really the joy of the practice. I mean, some people tend to feel some kind of relief, feel more relaxed when they're meditating, but not me. And I think there are a lot of people that are like this as well. That maybe when I first started meditating, the meditation felt really peaceful, and there were times when it was great to be able to to kind of let go of activity and peacefully exist in this place of non-striving and just go, okay, I can just be. And there's definitely some relief and comfort in that. But I've tended to find that my meditation practice isn't one that's extremely peaceful, that I tend to dig up and uncover a lot of things while I'm meditating without even trying. And this is really kind of what tends to show up. And so what is it that I'm observing? What are these two things? One is, as I'm trying my best to focus on the present moment object. So what is that? Is that the breath? Is that the body? So whatever it is that we're focusing on, I tend to find that it's challenging for me to stay focused. And I find that my mind will wander away, and then I'll have all kinds of thoughts. And so this is something, as we try to practice meditation, we're doing our best to keep our minds focused on the object of meditation. And as the mind wanders, we can't help but notice, before we bring the mind back, what is it that the mind is focusing on. So that time, that moment, we get a little glimpse. We get that glimpse of awareness of what it is that we're thinking about. And as we do that in our meditation practice, we begin to find that in our daily lives it becomes more obvious that the kind of thinking without intention becomes more obvious. And we start to see, oh, hey, I'm thinking about this thing again. This thing that I thought doesn't bother me is showing up yet again. This little thing I went, oh, this isn't important. But I find that I can't stop thinking about it. Why is it that I can't stop thinking about it? So it brings a kind of awareness. It sheds some light on the thinking process itself and kind of our own addiction to whatever it is that we may be thinking about. And it could be intrusive thoughts, it could be something that we don't want to be thinking about, or it could just be kind of a revelation. Like, hey, wow, I didn't realize that this is something that is bothering me a lot. And so that's the first step, the first piece. The second piece is that as we're focusing on sensations in the body, it begins to make us more in tune to our own body and the awareness that we have of our body. And it's something that I haven't discussed in quite a long time, actually, and I think it's really important, and it's something that I should talk about more often, is that our emotions are not limited to this space. Our emotions are not just in our heads, right? When we experience emotions, those emotions come with bodily sensations. And as we are practicing, as we're observing our breath, one of the things we may notice is that as we're watching the breath isn't constant, right? I mean, not only is the fact that in each moment I am at different stages of my inhalation, I'm at different stages of my exhalation, right? This is one thing that you can notice. The other thing is that the depth of each breath may change, the pace of the breath may change, and a lot of this is linked to what our thoughts are. And our thoughts bring up emotions. The emotions bring up bodily sensations. Bodily sensations change the way that we're breathing. And so as we focus on the physical sensations in the body, we start to be able to much more accurately link what those emotions and those bodily sensations are. And what's so amazing about this is that you'll discover that your bodily sensation that is associated with an emotion that you have actually shows up before you become aware of the emotion itself. So let me say that again, that the bodily sensation associated with what emotion you're having shows up before you are aware of the emotion itself. So that actually gives you some extra little piece of insight into the emotion that you're having before you become aware of that emotion. So it kind of gives you an extra little alarm bell that, hey, wait a minute, my anger is coming out. Oh, wait a minute, this is my sadness is showing up. My anxiety is showing up. So all of this gives you these warnings before, what can happen is we spiral deeply into this some kind of strong emotion, and it can be hard when we're at the bottom of the spiral to begin to pull ourselves back together. So this is that kind of early warning alarm bell that we can use to observe ourselves and to be aware of that emotion as it's coming up. So these are two really powerful and to me really great reasons to meditate. So one, to become aware of thoughts, to start to see cyclical thought patterns as they're happening, and to go, hey, wait a minute, this thing that I don't think is important actually might be more important than I'm giving it credit for, because I'm seeing it's showing up. Seeing that it's showing up more than I'm expecting it to show up. And then number two is that bodily sensation gives us an early warning about what kind of emotion it is that we're going to experience. So, okay, welcome everybody. We're about to get into our period of meditation. I'll have a look at the chat here after we're done. But let's go ahead and get into our practice today. And in this spirit of bodily awareness, we're going to do a short body scan, probably about 15 minutes. So get yourself comfortable. As a teacher of mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, I would encourage you to lie down if that's how you would prefer to practice the body scan. Of course, you can always practice sitting up as well. If you lie down, just trying your best to be comfortable, having something between yourself and the hard floor, maybe a mat or your bed. And let's begin by noticing the contact points between our bodies and the supporting surface. So if you're sitting like I am right now, noticing where the buttocks is in contact with your chair or your cushion. Noticing the contact between the legs and the supporting surface. The feet, if your feet are on the floor. If you're lying down, noticing where the areas of the back are in contact, the back of the head. As gravity pulls down, the supporting surface pushes back. So can you feel, with as much detail as possible, can you become aware of where the supporting surface is touching you? And then noticing where the supporting surface is not touching you. Maybe with an imaginary whiteboard marker, marking the edge of where you're being touched and where you're not being touched. And now noticing that you're breathing. So letting go of the attention of the supporting surface and moving the attention to the abdomen or the nostrils. Feeling the body rising and falling, expanding and contracting with each breath. And as you feel ready, releasing the attention on the breath and moving the attention down the body into the left leg, all the way down to the left foot. Noticing the toes, the sole of the left foot. The top of the left foot. The ankle. Moving up towards the left shin. As best you can, being aware, knowing that you don't need to feel anything. You may not feel anything, just doing your best to bring attention to the left calf muscle. to the left knee, to the left thigh, and now expanding awareness into the entirety of the left leg, from toes to hip. What do you observe here in this region of the body? And on your next exhalation, releasing the left leg from the awareness. And now guiding attention down the right leg. All the way down to the toes of the right foot. Feeling each toe individually if you can. Noticing the sole of the right foot, the right heel, the right ankle, the top of the right foot, the right shin, the right calf muscle, the right knee, and the right thigh. From toes to hip, holding the entirety of the right leg in awareness in this moment. And on your next exhale, releasing the right leg from awareness. And bringing attention to the buttocks, in contact with the cushion or supporting surface, noticing the tailbone, noticing the perineum and the genital region, becoming aware of the lower back, the mid-back, the upper back, aware of the abdomen, moving as we breathe. chest, feeling the heart beating, feeling the chest rising and falling as we breathe. And so now, holding the attention now in the entirety of the torso. And so now on the next exhalation, letting go of the torso, the trunk of the body, as we bring awareness now to the left hand, the fingers, the wrist, the forearm, the left elbow, the left upper arm, the left armpit, the left shoulder, holding the entirety of the left arm in awareness. And now on the next exhalation, just letting the left arm fade into the background of awareness as we bring our attention to the right hand and the right fingers, the right wrist, the right forearm, the right elbow, the right upper arm, the right armpit, the right shoulder, and then holding the entirety of the right arm in awareness. Noticing any and all sensations we may find here. And then as we exhale, letting go of the right arm. Guiding attention now into the back of the neck. The front side of the neck, the throat, the larynx, air moving in and out as we breathe. Blood moving to and from the head. Noticing now the jaw, the mouth, the teeth, the tongue, the gums. The nose and air moving through the nostrils. The cheeks, the ears, the eyes, the muscles around the eyes. The forehead. The scalp. And the back of the head. And so now holding the entirety of the neck and head region in awareness. And now expanding awareness to your body as a whole. From the crown of the head to the tips of the toes. Becoming aware in this moment of this body. All the sensations here. Noticing what's most prominent. Noticing what's most subtle. And now we'll begin to draw our practice to a close. I'll close today's practice with 3 rings of the bell. So after the sound of the bell subsides, feel free to begin to move your body around and stretch out anything you'd like to transition out of our period of practice. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for practicing with me today and for being here for each other as well. How'd it go? How was your practice? And did what I said earlier bring up anything for you? It's about becoming aware, using meditation to become aware of thoughts and emotions and bodily sensations and kind of the marriage of these 3 things. So how did your practice go today? What's present for you now? And so I'll start with Rachel's comment 20 minutes ago. I was watching my dog and suddenly my heart contracted with pleasure, and I realized how much I love her. And so, that's the thanks for sharing, Rachel. And that's that combination of physical sensation that comes with strong emotion. And I think, thanks, Rachel, as well, for reminding us of, I tend to think about the negative emotions, or what we would consider to be negative emotions, because of the fair warning that we get before we act on those. But that's it's also something that's really good for positive emotion too. And how can we cherish and relish those moments of positive emotion if we don't know that we're having them? So thanks, Rachel, for sharing. good to have you back, Caesar. Thanks for showing up today. Ellie says, I'm present with deep sadness this evening. Thank you for holding space for me and for me to be able to feel that and also know that it's not me. And thanks, Ellie, so much for sharing. And I think that's something that we also, it's a great reminder, Ellie, that my emotions are not me, right? There's me, and then there's what it is that I'm feeling. And I think sometimes we really get caught up inside of that emotion to say, I am sad, I am angry, right? I mean, that's even the words that we use in English, right? We'll say that I am sad, right? That there's a sense of being that comes along with that emotional state. And I think that we can actually step aside and see our emotions experientially instead of existentially. That we can say, I am experiencing sadness in my body. I am experiencing anger right now. That it's not I am angry. That we can kind of separate those two things despite what our circumstances may be. Thanks so much, Ellie. Caesar says, easily distracted today. Thanks for sharing. I can always relate to that. Bev said, didn't want to let go of sublime relaxation I can only get while meditating. Thanks, Bev, for sharing. Rachel says, a lot of mind wandering, jaw clenching, nearly fell asleep. And Siffy says, needed that. Really just heard news of passing from lupus, so very disoriented. Yes. Thanks, Siffy, for sharing. And thanks for sharing with us and bringing us into that community. Jean says, this weekend I caught myself after I had already gone down a rabbit hole of unhelpful emotions. After catching myself, I judged. And then I remembered not to beat myself up for beating myself up for beating myself up, as Ruben says. Thanks for sharing. And that's so easy to do, right? So we go, hey, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. So man, what's wrong with me? So thanks a lot, everyone. It's been sounds like there's some difficulty going on today for quite a few people here, and so my heart goes out to you. I hope everything's getting better through time, and to be present with whatever's going on right now as best you can, and to welcome it, to remember that it's already here. So let's close our time together as we do with some well wishes to ourselves and some well wishes to everyone else that you're sharing this time and space with here today. So feel free to follow along if you like. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone here today, watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. May all life, human and otherwise, everywhere in the world and throughout the universe, may we all be happy and peaceful. Okay, thanks everybody. Be back in 48 hours, talk a little bit about how this awareness of self in the moment can be applied to therapy, to whatever it is that we're trying to tackle, and how that can be useful. So look forward to sharing that and seeing you then. Do take care, and hope you have a great day or evening wherever you are. Until next time. Bye-bye.